And here is what I have learned. When I was a very young man starting out, I tried to be in the film and television business in Canada, and in 1967 there was no one that would help. And I can remember going to a broadcaster, writing a script, and they said to me, when they read the script, two young guys on motorcycles going into the southern United States and being involved in this crazy world that was involved with drinking and drugs, and they said, for God's sakes, nobody would ever watch a movie about this, especially when the two main characters die at the end. And I said, oh, really? And that was my first script. 2 years later, out came Easy Rider. And my second goal, which I learned that nobody knows anything about the future, is when my best friend and I sat down and wrote a script, because he had been in a frat house and I was at university, and we knew all of these really crazy kids and crazy people that were really party animals. And he said, and he's still my writing partner after almost 35 years. We still write together on a number of projects. And we wrote it about a group of people in a frat house. And when we brought the finished script to the network, they said, oh, for God's sakes, this is disgusting. These characters are really despicable. Nobody would want to watch a movie about a bunch of drunken, disorderly students, especially being so disrespectful to the thing. And I said, but it's funny. And they said, it doesn't matter if it's funny, nobody wants to watch that. And of course out came Animal House. And these are true stories. I actually wrote both of those scripts. And that was the point at which I realized that nobody knows anything about anything. And that when I learn what is going on inside of me, that what I had to do was overcome incredible adversity, because all I ever heard was no. Probably for the first 5 years that I was in the business, I tried to keep doing, I was an actor. I started out to be an actor. And after 3 years, I had an acting coach in Toronto whose claim to fame was Barbra Streisand. And he said to me after 3 years, he said, so Dave, have you thought about producing? And I have to thank Eli Rill today, because that was the reason why I went away from trying to perform to becoming a writer, producer, and a director. And you know, in the last 30 years, having accomplished 4 feature films, having an Academy Award nomination, my partner, the late Philip Borsos, did the film Nails, which I helped finance, and we had in our company. And then he and I did a movie that is considered by the world's critics as arguably the best Canadian feature film ever done, The Grey Fox, which made a star of Richard Farnsworth that had him go on to a remarkable career. So what I know is this, that whenever any of us, for instance, how many of you have ever confronted any kind of difficulty in your lives? Just out of curiosity. I've yet to meet anyone that never has. And it doesn't matter